to search and shopping, if you're selling physical products, the number of advertisers I meet who are selling stuff that are spending maybe six figures a month on.
So I wanted to ask you one of the things I've heard you talk about is kind of like the three pillars: traffic, conversion, and the one I don't think enough people talk about is strategy, is like the deeper idea of like what are you actually doing inside of that ad account? What's the bigger plan, and how do these clicks and ultimately the sales you're after fit into a bigger picture? And I wonder if you could tie that in a little bit to your zoom out, kind of zoom in kind of way of looking at ad accounts.
Let me paint you this picture then. I don't think I've ever explained it this way, but let me try. You've got to start with the business, right? What's the business objective? Why are you in business? And most people will say, well, that's stupid, Mike, to make a profit. But is it? Is it serving customers? Is there this mission that you're on? There's all sorts of reasons that people are in business, and profit is usually one of them. For us, people on planet are above profit, but profit's certainly in that list. Then you come down, now you need a marketing strategy for your business. The question that a lot of people look at me funny when I ask, why do you have a website? No, really, why do you have a website? And really try to understand what that is, get clear on that. Then you can take that concept and bring that down to, okay, for now you need quality traffic coming to that website because you've got this thing that it needs to do. You want to give away an ebook. Don't try that, folks, in 2023. But back in the day, that was very successful. You would drive people to there because you want to swap an ebook for maybe $27, maybe for an email address. I give away most of my tools because one, I'm just probably not a very good marketer, but two, I just can't be asked with dealing with all the Thrivecart stuff and the opt-ins and then write the email sequence off the back of that. I just give it away. I mean, LinkedIn has gone nuts. I wrote this script for Performance Max campaigns. The first version, I guess, was, maybe 5 months ago now. I checked my LinkedIn stats last week because I was giving a talk and I thought, oh, maybe I'll put a little screenshot up there. 750,000 people have interacted with this post or seen the post. I don't know how many tens of thousands of people have actually put the script in their accounts and run it and used it to get insights. I would guess thousands and thousands at this point. And I realized afterwards, I probably could have sold that. That probably would have been quite profitable. I could have at least gated it. You talked about building a list when we were talking off air. Yeah. I probably should have used that to build a list. But my MO, my whole career has just been like, oh, here's a cool thing that you can't do inside the Google interface. Have at it, people. Like, let's go. And it reaches so many more people doing that. Like I say, maybe I'm not a very smart marketer, but for me, that's more important than building a list of people that I can email and then smash over the head with something else. So it comes down to, what is your strategy? What's the point of that website? What are you trying to do with that? And then I think about Google Ads you're coming down to the layer by layer. So you split it search and display, and then you split search into search and shopping. If you're selling physical products, the number of advertisers I meet who are selling stuff that are spending maybe six figures a month on Facebook, or at least, when I was last speaking in the States, which is in the before times, 3 years ago, they would be spending a lot on Facebook ads. They would have never tested Google Shopping. And there's so much quality traffic on that Google Shopping side. And then you got display video, which is definitely worth testing. But for a lot of small businesses, you're probably not going to have the budget to do it justice, to get the data that you need. And then Perry says it best, it's like playing chess versus checkers. It's just, levels more complicated to get a win from that. And there's a lot of fraud there, and you have to take extra precautions and so on. So search and shopping, and then you sort of keep going down those layers if you want to keep going down those layers.
I love the chess versus checkers analogy. I deal with a lot of digital marketing agency owners, a lot of folks who run Google ads and Facebook ads and web design for other people. And the amount of times I get asked in a week, like, what's the magic script that'll get all the money? And I always compare it to like, it's like asking what's the magic phrase that'll always get you laid, right? It's like, it doesn't exist, right? Like, but nonetheless, folks are there. And if somebody really understands playing chess, where they can think 2, 3, 4 moves in advance and be very strategic with how they move those pieces on the board, they're always gonna win.
And you can draw parallels there, right? You go to the club and it's like, well, what's your strategy? If that's what you're into, you can go Eben Pagan, David D'Angelo back in the day. They'll probably
David
tell you the
D.
right words to do that. But if your objective is long-term happiness, joy, meeting the right person, you're going to say very different things to the person at the bar.
Yeah.
Like it's what's your strategy, and you go from there.
Or maybe you shouldn't bid on bar keywords in the first place if you're looking for misses,
maybe
right?
maybe you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, totally. One of the things I've heard you talk about, by the way, and I think this is just really smart, and I don't think enough people do anything with this, is building lists. I think like, if you install a little bit of code, you're building lists, but I don't know if enough people really use those lists intelligently. And I'd love to kind of just hear your thoughts on how you think about lists and what are some of the, your kind of go-to strategies you like to use with them.
I'll come at it from the other way, if I may, and the importance of a list in a tool like Google Ads these days, as we head into, we're already there, this world of privacy, this world where third-party cookies probably won't exist in the near future, model data, GDPR, CCPA, all of that stuff, which all to say is saying that the machines can't target in that super granular way that they used to be able to target. And bringing in any kind of first party data to that fight is generally going to be a huge win. And if you've got this list of like, here are the 50,000 people that have downloaded my ebook in the last year, here are the 10,000 people that have bought from me, as a starting point for the machine, hey, go find more people like this, and loading that list into Google Ads with the stupidly named customer match list, email list, then that gives the machine a great starting point. Now, but again, you've got to think about, well, okay, how do we build the list and what's the sort of quality? Because if you were doing that with some clickbait style offer that brought in lots of people, got them to put their email address in, but none of those people ever bought from you. Yeah, you've got 100,000 emails, but 4 of them ended up buying your thing because you were trying to trick people or you scamming them. Then it isn't going to be any bloody use, right? So it needs to be aligned. It needs to be useful. It needs to be, that list needs to be, I guess, on that. It needs to be correlated with the sale, geeky
Yeah.
terms.
I always say there's a hidden metric in all of that is like, are the right people coming through the other side of the ads? And it's not so easy to measure because people look at like, here's my click-through rate and here's my ROAS and all these kind of like little metrics along the way. And especially if you have like a high ticket product or service where it's less about like pure quantity and more about like finding the right fit. A lot of times what you do is you can hit those kind of surface level metrics and all they translate to are refunds and things like that on the back end. And I don't see very many marketers posting their refund rates on like, as a screenshot of like, look at my refund rate,
Yeah. Yeah. And they'll talk about that behind closed doors sometimes, and you'd be amazed what some of them think is not even acceptable, but kind of like almost good business practice. That whole like, well, if the refund rate isn't high, that means you're not pushing the limit hard enough. Like, no, you're pissing a lot of people off. I don't think that's the right way to go about doing business. I was just going to say with that, there's a thought on the top of my head there, and I think I'm losing it. I'm almost getting it back, but I think it's gone. There were two. One was going to be about traffic. Like a lot of people say they want traffic, lead scoring. You don't want traffic. You want quality traffic. I think where a lot of people go wrong, well, firstly, a lot of people go wrong because they don't have good conversion tracking, full stop. So getting that set up properly is massively important. I'll come back to that if I remember. But to your point, a lot of people then use the wrong metrics to track. And the conversation we've been having for quite a while now with a lot of people is, do you want to use the platform data for reporting? And I say reporting in air quotes because how much do you actually believe platform data these days? Google is going to be greedy in terms of what it says it's responsible for. Just look at the difference between your last click data in Google Analytics versus what the Google Ad platform says, and Facebook's its own whole basket case.
Yeah.
Do you want to use that platform data for reporting, or do you want to use it as a signal to optimize the machine? Because if you're doing the latter, then you're actually going to draw the most decent quality traffic you can out of the machine, and you figure out how to do reporting on ROI, ROAS, whatever is important to you, profitability should be. You do that somewhere else, not using those And if you're using it for optimization, then what data are you feeding the machine? Take that high ticket item that you mentioned. Like, what are the stages that prospect goes through in terms of like marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead before they become a paying customer? Are you telling the machine which leads became marketing qualified and what the value of that prospect now is? Which of those become sales qualified leads and what the value of that opportunity now is? And then the value of the sale. Yes, it makes your reporting harder inside of Google Ads, but that's the sort of first party data that if you can feed that stuff to the machine, you're going to see a huge improvement almost every time in what the machine is able to do. But people are generally too lazy to do that, I find.
Hey guys, if you like this video, you'll also like my book on Amazon called Beyond the Agency Box, which you can also find by my name, Frankie Finn, and it's got a lot of awesome reviews. And it really just goes deeper on a lot of things we're talking about, everything you need to grow and start a lifestyle agency, from the stages you'll go through to getting clients, to how to create winning offers, to high value deliverables, to wowing clients, to building teams, to building systems, and building a boring factory that's like a 7-figure money machine for you. So if you're interested, I put links for you in the video description, as well as it'll be in the pinned top comment below, and make sure to check those out.